Hello and welcome back to another Code Realize. I almost didn't have my volume turned up in time to catch the intro of that. Anyway, I had to plug in my headphones because I forgot to plug them in last night when I went to bed and they're dead. So I have to play with plugged in headphones, which is unfortunate. Alright, I'm very curious of what's going to happen in this one. Hopefully Jupiter comes out and says what he was wanting to say yesterday. I say yesterday, in the last episode, whenever you may watch that. Let's see if I can get my microphone to pick up my words without filters. We are continuing down the secret route. I forgot what it was called, but anyway, the next day.
おかえりパラサイト5改めパラサイト6お疲れ様よかったわよ
Whatever it is now. Thank you. Sorry for leaving you with so much work.
いいのよむしろあんなヤバいやつらばっかの中でよく頑張ったわねところで後ろのそれ何
I was hoping you wouldn't notice. What? Peter has basically planted himself directly behind me. My Cupid's bow effect had faded, but now he had a different reason for not leaving me alone.
ここにも危機の気配がある。どこへ行けばいいのだ
Yeah, but this is a lot different than yesterday. This is just office danger. He was much more serious last night.
なーにまた花瓶パラサイトなんか悪化してるんじゃない
Yeah, he's been like this since yesterday. I have no idea why. Whenever I ask, he just says, we're in danger.
ハリケーンでも近づいてきてるんだったりして
嵐を起こそうとしている
Oh my goodness. Hey, Peter.
あら行っちゃったわほんと花瓶パラサイトねにしてもあんなセンシティブな人と付き合うなんて歴代ナンバーワンの恋のキューピッドちゃんは物好きだった
Talking about her. A few days later, Peter was still acting terrified.
地下から危険な気配が感じられる今日は地下鉄に乗るのはやめよう
He's acting like it's just weird office danger again. Like, I don't understand.
危機が迫っているそろそろ家に帰るとしよう
Whatever, let's just see where this goes. He was quickly becoming the sensitive parasite more than ever before. But I had to admit that we were in fact avoiding danger. Looking at my phone, I saw an article about a fire in the subway. There had been a fire on the subway line we always use that Peter said we should avoid. And a few days ago, right after we got back from the Happy Force Cafe, there actually was a terrible storm. There were huge chunks of hail coming down. I was actually happy we left earlier than we had planned. But still...
危ない
What? Suddenly, Peter leapt at me and knocked me to the ground. I fell onto a garbage can, spilling papers all over the sidewalk. Sidewalk? You're inside. Apparently, the danger that time was that the person standing next to me was about to get some dirt on me. Listen, Peter, I know you have a nose for danger, but that's great, but haven't you been a little too sensitive lately? I mentioned that as we entered the workshop suite where we were alone, Peter looked down, slightly ashamed.
すまないだが本当に危機が迫っているのだ
Why don't you just get man up as Jupiter and take care of it? You're the god of gods, right? What kind of danger? He just stood there in silence as if he didn't want to answer.
D コンセンテスよりも強力な何かが我々を狙っているそれだけは確かなんだ
Is it Satan? Something more powerful than the Die Constant. That's definitely a problem. Then wouldn't we be better off heading back to Celestia?
深海にも危機があるミネルヴァがお前を狙っているのだ
I mean, Lady Minerva.
ああ どうやらお前のキューピッドの矢を狙っていたようなのだ。だが確かに最近はその気配もないな。
After looking around, Peter lost himself in thought.
あいつが裏切ったと分かり警戒しているのか。諦めたのであればよいが。すまない。深海が安全かどうか確かめるまでもう少し時間をくれ。
Yeah, of course, but Aunt Minerva is after my bow. Are you sure? I haven't seen her for so long.
キューピッドの矢は決して外れないだろう。だからお前がキューピッドの矢の所有権を失うよう裏から手を回していたらしいのだ。ミネルヴァと手を組んでいた者に聞いたから間違いない。
What? I didn't know it was even possible to lose ownership of my bow.
ああ、と言っても私も具体的な方法は知らないかな。
Not even he knows, huh? Peter cleared his throat and looked away. He did know, I was sure of it. Peter knows so much about so many things. Is he really just a divine beast? Are you going to ask him? Like, you need to ask him. Back in Celestia, Dad's divine beast only ever brought me messages.
とにかくお前のことは私が守る。だから信じてくれ。
Peter. The look he gave me was undeniably genuine. Okay, I understand. I was so overwhelmed. All I could do was nod. Just then the door opened. The day's workshop group all came filing in. The Parasite 5, a workshop specifically for our most troublesome members, we needed to focus on serious marriage hunting exercises. Since I had been part of the Parasite 6 show as well, I was in charge of all of them. Also, all the other Cupid Corp advisors had given up on them, so I was the only one left willing to try. My Cupid nature made me feel a bit of pity for them. I hated the thought of even people like them being completely abandoned. Welcome everyone, I'm so glad that you all could make it.
当然だよ。君からメールもらえたらどんな嵐の日でも行くから。
That's cute.
私も一応は婚活中だしな。お客様を裏切ることはしたくない。それで今日はどんなセミナーなんだ？
As the president going through these, it must be kind of awkward. At least for I would think so. You have a guest speaker, a professor of romantic psychology. She'll show you how to evaluate each of your romantic approaches.
ほう、それはなかなかに実利的だな。
Pragmatic, from the word pragma. I suddenly remembered the concept of love style typology, which I learned about in college. Come to think of it, Mr. Snell's love type definitely seems like pragma. What about the others? As I looked at each of them, I realized that their parasite natures fit perfectly with the different love types. The other level on Parasite, he's so dedicated, he matches the nature of Agape. Mr. Snail, the prestige parasite, he's rational and dedicated to his work, definitely pragma. Ryuki, the glamour parasite, strict about beauty, ignores anyone not attractive enough, sounds like Eros to me. Rao, the obsessed parasite, he's so enthusiastic about his hobby that he seems like mania at first, but... But, out of nowhere, I was struck with the sense that he must be Ludus, and I tilted my head. I recognized that instinctive reading. It was a lot like when I used my Cupid's bow to check a couple's compatibility.
どうした？
Yes, we're just reading people. Yeah, I'm fine. I just had a strange feeling.
どんなものだ？危機でも察知したか？
Oh, she's not you. No, nothing like that. It's just Rao seems like he should be Mania, but somehow I suddenly realized he was Ludus. I wonder why. Meanwhile, Professor Melville seems like Ludus on the surface, but he's actually more like Mania.
それは。
Peter had an odd look on his face. It was like a combination of surprise and admiration. He smiled softly at me.
そうか。愛の形が見えるようになったのだな。
Yeah, I was like, she's seeing the types without using her bow. Shape of love.
この世界には6つの愛の形がある。それが見えるようになったのは喜ばしいことだ。
That's what he was trying to do all along.
人の世のためにも、深海のためにも。
Huh? I know, right? I realized that I'd seen Peter make that same expression before. Oh, really? It was his eyes that struck me. I was sure I'd seen them at some point in Celestia. Are we going to Oh, I'm thinking of Lord Jupiter. That gentle vibe and just the way he talked definitely reminded me of Lord Jupiter. Is it because he's actually Lord Jupiter's divine beast? Maybe they've been together so long, some of Lord Jupiter had rubbed off on him. Oh yeah, you had described your love as fraternal, in other words, storge. So just with all the people in this room, the love style typology is complete.
ああ、確かにそうだな。これで6つ愛の形を知ることができたのか。あとは
Chigapicino. No!
遅れてごめんなさい。セミナーを始めるわよ。
Every time we get to something, someone has to interrupt. I don't understand. Why is it Miss Tyner again? As Miss Tyner burst into the room, I was suddenly reminded that I was at work. Okay, everyone, make sure you pay close attention. Back to work mode. Miss Tyner is an expert on the topic of love. She's even published multiple books and articles. She'll show us how to use romantic psychology in order to get closer to the person you're interested in.
8B968D
Now I have to look that up and post it on here to show what that is. But I think I did the first time he did that, but that's back in the common roots. I'll do it again. That's grayish blue, I guess. It seems pretty dull, to be honest. Oh, really? She just automatically knows now? I looked up the color Ryuki mentioned on my phone. Apparently, he was still as picky as ever. That's arrows for you. Hey, Mr. Snell lost to work again. Enral is reading a complete mythological encyclopedia. And Alan's on the phone. And Professor Melville's on the phone getting yelled at again. As usual, the Parasite 5 couldn't care less about their education and love. You know, you should just give up. Everyone, listen up. If you're serious about getting married, you need to pay attention to her. Do you hear me?
なあ、聞いているぞ。
Undivided attention. Then could you send those emails later?
で、そこの机の下に埋まってるのは放っておいていいの？
Under the table? Are you talking about Peter? Peter, get out from under there. The Parasite 5, or Parasite 6 now, always made me feel like pulling teeth to get through a lecture. Eventually, the presentation came to a close without anyone learning anything. Home at last. Once I got home, I let out a big sigh and fell down onto the bed. I can't believe we didn't make any progress again today. The Parasite 5 is such a pain. After the presentation, I tried to recommend some new girls to the 5 troublesome clients, but here we go.
ごめん、ちょっとピンとこないや。
すみません。
Oh my
社
goodness.
長は急な会議が入り来られませんでした。なお、いただいた会員様にはお断りをとのことです。
He wanted me to inform me that he'd be rejecting all of your suggestions, so that's rude. Whatever.
ああ、彼女とは前に神話討論会で会ったことがあるよ。でも俺の考察と解釈を話したらすごい怒らせちゃってビンタされたんだよね。趣味が合わないみたい。
Bet Ryuki gives her a number.
403D4D
Yep.
他人に恋してたら会ってもいいよ。
Oh my goodness. Like, you just stop. They don't care. And so, of course, I wasn't able to match any of them up. Come on, my internship is almost over. It was hard to imagine any of the Parasite 5 finding a serious relationship before I left. If anything, I felt like their parasite natures were getting stronger by the day. If we're human, I'd definitely join the company full time and keep on trying to help them. Sadly, I'm just here to study. Once I graduate from college, I have to head back to Celestia. Graduation. The fact was, once my internship was over, I wouldn't have the time to graduate properly. This whole situation makes me sad. Before anything else, I am a god. And if I want to help all the humans find happiness, I need to observe their love as a god. So I really don't want to abandon anyone in the Parasite 5. If they truly desire it, I have to help them find the happiness that comes from having someone to share your joy with. That's my duty as the goddess of love. Sounds like you have to shoot them with your arrows.
そうか。ミネルヴァが気づいたか。
ああ、どうやら今回は諦めて次の代のキューピッドを狙うみたいだよ。
ふむ。ならば彼女はミネルヴァから狙われなくなったというわけか。あとは彼女をジュノーへ昇格させればよいだけだな。だが肝心のジュノーの座の封印を解くまでにまだ少しかかりそうだ。マーズに急ぎやらせてはいるが。
If there's no threat in Celestia anymore, I guess there's no reason we can't go home. I can feel him down here in the human realm more and more every day. Where could he be hiding? He's done such a good job of hiding himself. All of my investigating hasn't turned up anything. It's been like this for so long. Maybe I'm just not fit to be the god of gods.
だが彼女がジュノーになってくれれば。
Even then, can I rely solely on that? Thinking about all of this is just making me more depressed. I've existed for thousands of years, and here I am pinning my hopes on Cupid, who's only been alive for 4 centuries.
こんなだから過敏パラサイトと言われるのだ。逃げ出さず恐怖と向き合わなければ。
But my instincts just can't avoid those fears. The fear I felt when Kronos nearly swallowed me up, the desire when I faced him, those feelings rose up in me again and again.
とにかくそういうわけだから、あの子を人間と恋させる動きはなくなった。それでいつジュノーに昇格させられるんだ。
おそらくもうすぐだ。安心しろ。絶対に消滅などさせないから。それに実行の方法は悩みどころだが、彼女の力を取り戻す方法も見つかったのだ。
そうなのか。
ああ、キューピッドは鉛の矢を撃てば減った生命力を取り戻せると判明した。だが神がいたずらに人の縁を切るわけにはいかぬ。だからどうしたものかと思ってな。
ならちょっと俺に考えがある。今度の2人の休日教えてよ。
ち
Is Alan going to do something with the both of them? A few days later, I found myself at Pillow Luxuria on 9th Avenue. Peter and Professor Melville had asked me to come. It was so strange that how I couldn't stop myself from calling him Professor. So, can I ask what this is all about? There were lots of women in the store. Professor Melville was moving from one to another, helping them each in turn. Meanwhile, I was peeking out from behind the counter along with Peter.
実はここはアランの営む枕店らしいのだが、そこで客たちから恋愛相談を受けていたらしい。彼女たちはそのうちの一部だ。何でも彼女たちは皆悪い男に引っかかっているものの、好きという感情が捨てられないせいで別れられず困っていたそうなのだ。
I gotta figure this what it was. I'm gonna bring you a bunch of people who need to get out of their relationships and you can shoot all of them.
だがそんな彼女たちの恋心もお前なら消せるだろう。鉛の矢を使ってな。
Well, yeah, I can do that, but the whole situation felt way too convenient to me. Too convenient. Does Professor Melville know that I am Cupid or something?
ああ、そうか。お前は知らなかったか。
She doesn't know that he's an incubus.
彼はインキュバス。悪魔だ。そして今は私と共闘している友人だ。
Oh, there you go. What? Professor Melville, an incubus? Of course, I'd heard plenty about them in Professor Girodondo's mythology class. I knew all about what incubi, dream demons, got up to. Wait, don't tell me that he was responsible for that crazy dream I had the night of the Parasite 6 rap party. She could put that together, but she can't put together that he's Jupiter yet. Like, oh my goodness. Why would a divine beast be working with a demon? It was all just too much new information at once for me to handle. As soon as I stood there, I heard someone start sobbing.
私もううんざりです。あんな言い訳ばっかりのひも男なんて。でも別れられないの。好きだから。あなたも苦労してるわね。私もよ。他に女がいるって分かってるのに全然別れられないの。最低よ。
Oh, he's right. They're all suffering for their love. Seeing all these tearful women, I was suddenly moved by my dedication to my duty. Cupid is also responsible for saving people like these from the pains of love. Okay, I'll take care of this. I took out my bow and arrow and took careful aim. Ha!
やはりそうだ。キューピッドの力が復活していく。
Huh? Did you hear that? I turned at Peter's odd statement and he was looking at the woman I shot with great interest. What did he mean by that? What does he know that he's not telling me? I know, you need to find answers. I'm finding it harder and harder to believe he's just some normal divine beast. Despite my doubts, I continued to fire off my leaden arrows. Despite all of her doubts, she's still not gonna ask till like the last minute. I spent the rest of my time at Pillow Luxury, breaking off one customer relationship after another. Later, Peter and I had dinner together in the city and then walked home. We invited Professor Melville to join us, but he said that an incubus had no need to eat. Phew, that was delicious.
ああ、そうだな。
He seems off in his own world. Peter had been acting distracted all day. His last reply was like that too, and even when we were eating, he didn't seem to have anything to say. Peter?
なんだ?
That's what I want to ask. You've been lost in thought all night. What's going on? And earlier you said Cupid was regaining her energy. What did you mean by that?
それは...
And something else has been bothering me. Sometimes I feel like you're not a divine beast at all, but an actual god. Finally, she said it. Peter suddenly froze, as if I'd guessed right. He quickly drew in on himself. I felt like he was getting ready to lie to me.
何を言うのだ。私は心中だ。ちいちゃんの姿を知っているであろう。
But you're nothing like Dad's divine beast.
それは当然だ。私はちいちゃんの姿の時に人語を話せない代わりに他の部分にエネルギーを割いていて。
Wow, he's just rambling on, isn't he? Uh-oh. Just then Peter's head whipped up. His face became more and more frightened.
まさかそんな気配がこんなに強く。
Huh? What is it now? I bet you him is his dad.
危機の気配が強まっている。
Another freak out? Come on.
静かに。
Suddenly Peter grabbed my hand and pulled me into a dark alley. We never go into a dark alley. Then he braced me tightly, protecting me with his entire body. His golden eyes shone brighter than ever I've seen before. They darted all around, looking for something. What on earth? Just then I felt a creepy sensation on my back, as if it were being stroked by a cold hand.
こんな王冠まで発せられるようになっているのか。だがまだ完全ではない。見つかる前に逃げなければ。
Before it finds us. What is it? Peter's breath quickened as he gripped me even tighter. Something moved like a snake in the shadows, and a bizarrely warm wind struck my cheeks. I was no sensitive parasite, but at that point, even I realized that we were in real danger. What is this?
神を憎むものだ。おそらく私とお前を狙っている。
Maybe it is Satan. Someone who hates gods. You mean like a demon?
悪魔ではない。いや、長き月日を経て悪魔になったと言ってもよいかもしれぬ。
Yeah, why would she know this? Like, come on. Who could he be talking about? I wanted to ask, but I was too scared to even raise my head. A horrible feeling spread through my body, and I desperately clung to Peter. Why was I so scared at that moment? Who could possibly be having that kind of effect on me? I could feel their intense hatred for all the gods and their murderous intent. So scared. I never felt such hostility towards me before. There was no doubt that it wanted both me and Peter dead. The only thing keeping me sane was the warmth of Peter's body.
Cupid, お前だけは私が守る。だから大丈夫だ。
He hugged me tighter and did his best to smile and make me feel at ease. But he was certainly just as afraid as I was. I could feel him trembling against me. But the body protecting me was so large and so warm. We just stood like that for a while until eventually that horrible sensation began to fade. So that was the danger we've been running from all this time?
ああ、そうだ。あれはもう何年も前から私を狙っている。だからその度に私は逃げてきたのだ。
Still think it's his dad.
あれとは戦えぬ。勝てるはずがないからな。だがあれはただの亡霊だ。意識しか動かせぬ。ただの思念。見つからなければ大丈夫だ。
So what is he going to do about it?
とにかく早く家に帰ろう。あそこは結界が張ってある。めったなことでは見つかるまい。
He took my hand and we started walking. He's a sensitive parasite, so I always assumed he was just exaggerating things. But it turns out that's what he was afraid of. Not just his presence, but the feeling it could put into you. That's the reason behind his sensitive nature. But what on earth could it actually be? Someone who hates gods, but that doesn't really answer my question. I was afraid to bring it up with Peter, so I just followed him in silence.
Ah, 風を感じる。久しぶりの外だ。だがひどい匂いだ。こんな場所早く脱出しないと。
ああ、ようやく目覚めたのね。よかった。私ずっと心配して。
I thought she went to the underworld or somewhere.
君が僕を助けてくれたのかい？
ええ、そうよ。私もう一度あなたに会いたくて。彼らを裏切ってあなたの封印を解いたの。だって私にとってはあなたが全てよ。今までそうだったようにこれからもずっと。
そうか、ありがとうジュノ。そして永遠にさよならだ。さよなら。
Uh-oh.
そんな、なんで私あなたとまた。
Someone says sayonara. He is not planning on seeing you again. Oh my goodness.
束縛だけが強い女の子はモテないって聞いたことないの？私にお前はいらない。でも封印を解いてくれて助かったよ。我が愛しの結婚の神よ。さあ、僕の糧となるんだ。私の力となって私を早くここからお出し。足りない。こんなちっぽけな神じゃ足りないわ。さあ、悪魔たち、私の糧となって。そしてジュピター、次はお前だ。私の目をごまかせはしないよ。
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine who it is. Someone with a split personality. Or they're twins? I don't know. Jupiter and the Stone's identity, huh? What is it? Well, with Juno gone, the artifact should return to heaven, right? So he can make Cupid Juno now, right? Anyway, the next day, I went to work just as normal. It seems like things are fine today. I glanced over at Peter, who was working some distance away. After we got home yesterday, he was so scared that he turned into Chi and slept with me the entire night. But when he woke up, he said the feeling was gone and seemed to be relieved, so we headed to Cupid Corp as usual. Oh, it's about that time. I had another meeting scheduled with the Parasite 5 today. I wanted to see if anything at all had changed after yesterday's lecture, so I wanted to meet with them again. It's just going to be the same thing. Like, they spend 20 minutes doing this lecture. The Parasite 5 is like, don't care. I grabbed the reports I had written up for each of them yesterday and headed for the meeting room. It's almost pointless to read any of this at this point. There I found the Parasite 5 waiting and chatting with a man I'd never seen before. It's him. Although his voice and his looks were kind of androgynous, so I couldn't be sure. His wavy hair and his strange eyes were oddly beautiful. His flashy outfit made me wonder if maybe there was a costume party going on somewhere in the building.
でさ、当てない通りのアンブロシアバーガーが本当に美味しくって。
Oh my goodness! It looks like Jupiter, except his eyes are switched. This is Jupiter's brother, isn't it? He said I'm nothing like my brother. I bet you, like, 100% this is Jupiter's brother.
いいな。俺もいつかそれ食べたいって思ってたんだよ。どんな味だった？
I bet you that's the person that was in the underworld all this time.
無論、崇高で美味だ。お前もそれほど興味を持つのであれば、食べに行けばよいじゃないか。
He's got a black arm. I wonder if, like, part of him is half demon.
まさかいけるわけないよ。
当てない通りというのはどこなんだ？
無知な子らだな。それぐらい自分で調べなよ。僕に教えてもらおうという態度は気に入らないね。
調べてみたけど出てこないよ。古代ギリシャの話しか出てこない。
君はどこぞの豚みたいに与えられた餌を食べることしかできないのかな。噛みつく前に自分の頭で一回考えてみたら。
Why is he here insulting everyone? I don't understand.
っていうか、あんたの服見せてもらえない？どうなってんのこのつなぎ目。全然縫い目が見えないんだけど。
How's everything connected? He must be of exceptional beauty for Ryuki to even talk to him.
それにこの腰の部分の素材、何で作ってるわけ？僕が知る限り、こんな曲線を作れるような金属はこの世に存在しないはずだよ。
Metal around the hips. Like those rune-looking things?
ちょっと、そんなに見つめないでよ。恥ずかしくなっちゃうでしょ。
It seems they're all really close. Is he a friend of theirs? What? He is kind of flashy, but he could also carry on a conversation with the Parasite 5. It was a new experience for me.
ごめん。君もう来てたんだね。ほら、みんな席に着こう。
Thanks to kill, everyone was soon seated. For some reason, even the new mystery man was sitting down. Thank you all for coming today. By the way, who's the new member?
お前が招集をかけたんじゃないのか？
No, this was supposed to be a meeting for the Parasite 5. I thought maybe he was a friend of yours.
いや、俺は初対面だよ。
私もだ。
は？じゃあ会員じゃないってこと？
あれ？
っていうかあんた神だよな。
Of course he knows. What? Giggle. He just says that in front of everyone, though. As everyone focused their attention on him, the man just smiled. Just as he began to open his mouth, the door swung open. Peter!
すまない、遅くなった。いつものスターバッカスのコーヒーとラテとホワイトモカフラペチーノとミルクティーを。なんでお前がここにいるんだ？
I knew it.
ゼウス
I wasn't sure if it was Zeus or not, though. Sorry, I have. This happened to me yesterday. I was looking up voice actors again because I was trying to figure out the voice actor for like the TV producer that was in like last episode, I think, because he sounds like a character from Code Realize, so I wanted to just double check. And then there was a character called Zeus in the voice actors. I'm like, who is Zeus? We obviously haven't seen him before, but he's got to be in this one, right? Well, I already knew that. I mean, we already knew some random character was popping up. I just didn't know who it was yet. Huh?
Hmm?
Everyone's like, what are you on about?
ゼウス
Oh my goodness, he knows, but
いやー可愛い弟よ
I knew it.
君の頑張り具合を見たくてお兄さん頑張ってきちゃった
Yep, brother.
ピーター君がゼウスの弟じゃあもしかしてポセイドンだったりするあ、それともハーデスかな
Oh yeah, he has many siblings, doesn't he?
でもねさすがにおいたが過ぎるよもちろん君も分かってるよね
Is this how she's gonna find out that he's Jupiter? He doesn't get to tell her. As Ralph stared at him like an adoring fan, the young man, apparently named Zeus, stood. He smiled, and in an instant, he disappeared. He just poofed. Huh?
消えた一体どこに
Oh my goodness. Just then there was a crack of thunder and the sound of a nearby downpour. It was completely sunny up until now. Is there more than one god of lightning and thunder then? Because Jupiter does that too. Peter? Peter was trembling. He was more frightened than ever.
そんなまさか像を見せてくるなんてそこまで力を取り戻していたのかゼウス
Hey, Peter.
アワハニー、君は今すぐ深海に戻った方がいい。
Huh?
あれは危険だ。絶対に見つかってはならないものに、君は見つかったんだ。あの真珠と一緒に深海へ帰れ。いいね。
His voice was deadly serious as he took me by the arms. I nodded at him, then followed after Peter. Finally, something's happening. Oh my goodness. Peter, where did you go? I thought he'd be under the desk or something, but I couldn't find him anywhere in the office. No, this is more than just desk cover. This is get the heck out of there cover. Not in the garbage can, not any of the drawers.
あら血相変えてどうしたの
Have you seen Peter?
さすがの彼でもゴミ箱の中にはいないと思うけど
I know, right?
私外に出てくの見たわすごい真っ青だったけど
Thanks, I have to go find him.
って外すごい嵐よ
Yep, it's fine.
行っちゃった
行っちゃったわね
Yep.
大丈夫かしらあの子
大丈夫よあの子いい子だものピーター君をとっ捕まえてきてくれるわ
でもなんだか心配になるのよねだってあの子
Oh.
なんだか神隠しに合いそうなんだもの
I mean, kinda sorta. She's gonna go back to Celestia, probably. Peter! As I shot out into the pouring rain, I saw Peter standing there, a look of desperation on his face. He was staring at the ground, and his body seemed to be vibrating with energy. I couldn't actually see anything, but I could tell that he was using his divine powers somehow.
ダメだもう手遅れだった私の力では抑えきれぬ逃げるぞ
What? Peter suddenly lifted me up. Without warning, he started floating in the air. What? Peter can't fly? Even without wings, or without being in his chief form. He's a god. What do you expect? In his human form, he carried us through the sky. Just then, the ground suddenly split apart. My goodness.
物理現象を及ぼすほど力を取り戻しているとは。
Peter, wait a second.
すまない、猶予がない。ついに復活した。
The sudden I heard something whirling through the air. It just barely missed hitting Peter's shoulder. It was a razor-sharp rock. I was stunned at what I was seeing. What is going on? Rocks flew past us on all sides, clearly intent on knocking us out of the sky. They flew past so fast I couldn't tell where they were coming from. They're trying to keep you from going back to Celestia, where he can't get you. But it was obvious that some invisible force was after us.
ここではいずれ捕まる。深海に戻るぞ。
Peter looked up into the sky. I could feel my body being pulled up through the air. What is this power? It was different from when I used my divine artifact or when I used my wings to fly. It was a power emanating directly from Peter. We made our way up through the sky. I don't know of a single divine beast this powerful. Once again, I doubted whether or not Peter was really a divine beast. I looked at him and recognized his shining golden eyes. It was what happened when someone like Dad used their divine powers. But I was right. Peter really was a god. Well, at least we got that much figured out.
ここまで来れば安全だな。
We're back. Although I've been gone for so long, my return to Celestia wasn't nearly as emotional as I'd expected. As I breathed hard, staring at nothing in particular, Peter released me and stood up.
ではすまない。私はちょっと用があるので失礼する。
I can tell you. Oh my goodness. Come on. With that, he turned back into Chi. You should have turned into Jupiter. That would have been more dramatic. Ah, Chi. Whatever. He's gone. I wanted to ask him what it was that was coming after us. Oh well. I'll go see Mom and Dad. Maybe they can tell me what's going on.
Cupid, 戻っていたのか。
Are you joking right now? You seriously faked that you had to go do something so you could come back as Jupiter, pretend you're not him. You're so annoying. Oh my goodness. Why? I don't understand. Tell her. Whatever. Just then, Lord Jupiter emerged from the shadows. Lord Jupiter. Wait, what? He was breathing heavily as if he just ran here. And normally he was so put together, but now his hair was messy and his mask was at a weird angle. I know, just take it off. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I recognized that, like, those golden marks on his neck. Zeus had that too.
なんだ。
His voice suddenly felt very familiar. In fact, he sounded exactly like the person who was just here a second ago. I know, right? As I stared at him, Lord Jupiter turned away from me awkwardly.
話がある。ついてきなさい。
Without waiting for a response, he began to walk. I spoke to his back. Chi?
ち
That was a good way to get him to respond, because he's been with you for so long. Of course he's going to respond to Chi. That was amazing. He turned and let out a familiar noise. Immediately he froze. I knew it! Chi, you were Lord Jupiter all along.
あ、いや、それは。
Hiya! Oh my goodness. I would never have done something like this before. When I pulled Lord Jupiter's mask off, I saw a pair of very familiar eyes. Peter.
いや、私は。
You can't pull us. You can't pull me anymore. You look exactly like him. Just tell the truth. You're Peter, aren't you? Look, she doesn't even care. She's happy about it. I was expecting her to be much more shocked, but I guess, you know, this late in the game, I don't know. I guess she's just happy. His mouth worked, but no sounds came out. Finally, he dropped his head as if giving up.
すまない。黙っていて。
I was right. Don't worry about it. Oh, but I should be talking to the god of gods so casually. It's really fine, almighty Lord Jupiter, so what can I do for you?
キューピッド、そのように話すな。
What? But Lord Jupiter...
今まで通りでいい。むしろお前にそのように話されると答える。今まで通り接してほしいのだ。
Oh, that's so cute. Taking me by the shoulders, he stared into my eyes. His own eyes were exactly like Peter's and Cheese. They were those same anxious, unsure eyes I'd gotten to know so well. Okay, then I'll talk to you the way I always have. But I have some questions for you. Why did you follow me to the human realm? And what attacked us when we came back? It was the being you called Zeus, right?
それは
Who is Zeus? I always thought Zeus was just another name for Jupiter for you. I know, me too, right?
違う。人々はジュピターもゼウスも同じだとしたが、実際は違うのだ。
Lord Jupiter gave a little shiver, then looked down and started to speak in a small voice.
かつてクロノスに飲み込まれた身代わりの石、あれこそ本当にクロノスを打ち砕いた全知全能の神ゼウス。
Oh. Was he turned into a stone?
私の双子の兄なのだ。
Twin brother. I knew it. Of course, they look exactly alike. Twin brother. Are you saying that there isn't one almighty god but two? You and this brother of yours?
ああ、神話によって名が違う同一の神だと人々には思われているが、実際は双子だったのだ。
I would never have guessed that the almighty god of Celestia had a twin brother. Oh, but I did remember Peter mentioning something about how he wasn't good with women, unlike his brother. Oh. Zeus was the one going around with women. They just became the same in all the books. At the same time, I still thought of him as Chi, so I just assumed divine beings could have siblings or whatever. Zeus being Lord Jupiter's brother would never have occurred to me. But why would your brother want to attack you like that? You're both gods, right?
私たち D コンセンテスが力を合わせ封印したからだ。
Seal him away.
ああ、2500年ほど前、今後神は人と直接交わらないようにしようと我ら十二神の中で話し合ったのだ。ロムルスとレムス、ローマを建国した子供たち、彼らが我ら神と交わった血を持つ最後の子だ。あの子らの誕生を見届け、我々は人から手を離そうとした。だがそれに反対する神がいた。
Zeus, I assume.
ああ、兄は我ら神が深海にこもり接触しないまま人々を導くのを良しとしなかった。人間らと交わり変わらぬ称賛を求めたのだ。だがそんなことをすれば人々の発展は望めぬ。徐々にではあるが、いつか人間界に神を必要としない時代が必ず訪れると我らは信じていた。だから反対したのだが、兄は怒ってな。兄の怒りは凄まじかった。雷を落とし、多くの神が兄に消された。D コンセンテスの者らも皆負傷した。このままではゼウス以外の神が葬られるところだった。実際兄は自分以外の神などいらぬと言っていた。だから我らは力を合わせゼウスを封印したのだ。
But how did he suddenly...
おそらくジュノーだ。彼女はゼウスを深く愛していた。嫉妬のあまり愛人らに復讐するほどにな。
The goddess of marriage Juno, also known as Hera, it's true that I had heard all kinds of myths about her jealousy. Even in Professor Giordano's classes, we covered a whole bunch of them.
ゼウスのあまりの暴君ぶりにジュノーもあの時は封印に賛同してくれたのだが、
時が経ち気が変わったのだろう。だがそのジュノーもゼウスに消滅させられた気配がある。
He eliminated her.
ああ、まだ寝具が見つかってはいないが、ジュノーの位置を察知できないのだ。もうジュノーは戻ってこないだろう。すべては私が不甲斐ない主審だからだ。兄のようにはできなくて、私はただの影で。
Don't talk like that. I took his hand and smiled. I've been watching you for a while now. I may just be Cupid, but I've seen what the god of all gods is really like. Lord Jupiter, you're dependable, thoughtful, and kind beyond measure.
だが、私の探査が至らず、ついにゼウスが復活してしまった。自らの影を人間界に飛ばせるほどに。本体が出てくるのも時間の問題だ。だから私はこの数日の間にこの深海の結界を強化した。だからここは平気だとは思うが、正直何が起きるか見当がつかぬ。ゼウスが何をするのか私には分からぬのだ。
Lord Jupiter shivered, then dropped down to the ground. This was the true nature of the god of gods, the sensitive parasite. I was suddenly moved to learn as much about him as I could. I felt like I should already understand him, but I could tell I didn't understand this god at all. I sat down next to him and looked him in the eye, thought about everything I'd seen, everything I'd heard. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to be right here by your side.
She.
I still laugh every time he says she. It's just such a weird thing to say whenever someone says something to you. I don't know. His eyes shimmered with uncertainty. He gently touched my arm as if seeking some small amount of affection.
ジュピター様、よかった。こちらにいらっしゃいましたか。
As the divine soldier arrived, Lord Jupiter's face became hard and strict. His mask goes on. He stood up, put his mask back on, straightened his back, and turned to the soldier. There was no sign of the Lord Jupiter that I'd come to recognize as a sensitive parasite.
そのように慌ててどうした？
He spoke calmly and majestically, truly the god of gods. I'd seen him like that before, going down to the human realm.
すみません。また人間界の結婚率が低下し。ジュピター様、申し訳ございません。今年の降水量が下がっている件について。
ジュピター様、大地で起きた森林火災が収まらず。
Wow, things are so hectic. One by one, Lord Jupiter was surrounded by divine soldiers. The Lord Jupiter is in charge of all those things. I thought Lady Juno was in charge of marriages, but I didn't want to interrupt, so I just took a step back. So, Lord Jupiter, I should probably head back to my room.
すまない。すぐに仕事を終えていく。それと、キューピッドの矢は決して使うな。仕事はせずに待っていてくれ。
I understand. When I got back to my room, it was clear that nothing had changed. A simple room with almost nothing in it. I sat on my bed and breathed in the air of Celestia that I'd been missing. I haven't felt like this in so long. Returning to Celestia meant that my body regained its divine form. In other words, I didn't have to sleep or eat anymore. I felt content before returning to Celestia, but I was saddened by how ephemeral it felt. I couldn't believe that Peter, or should I say Chi, has been Lord Jupiter this whole time. But I've been living with the god of all gods this whole time. I recall so many memories. We slept in the same bed, we took a bath together. Not only that, we've been lovers for the past month. Gotta remember all the kisses now and that he wants you. Oh my goodness. So I've actually kissed Lord Jupiter. It's all dawning on her now. Also, he said that it was his first time. Although he was a notorious flirt in the myths. That was Zeus. Pretty sure. So are you familiar with his history of love affairs?
恋愛遍歴
There are many myths surrounding Lord Jupiter, like how he turned into a swan to sneak into a woman's room, or when he appeared as rain.
あれは誤解だ
Misunderstanding. Oh, really?
主神ともあろうものがあんなみだよなそんなことするわけないだろだいたい女性が苦手だというのに
That's what he said last time. Judging by his reaction, all of the stories were actually about Zeus. But Lord Jupiter's been around for eons. Was it really his first kiss? I mean, it was extremely surprising. I can't believe someone who had lived dozens of times longer than me having no experience with love. But considering the sensitive parasite himself, it made sense. Peter couldn't hold a proper conversation and always ran away from ladies other than myself at Cupid Corporation. The sensitive parasite who fled at the first sign of danger. The disconnect between his true identity and his nickname suddenly clicked.
一部の神々たちは始まりの神クロノスとその妻レアから生まれたのだつまりは家族というわけだな全然似てはいないがしかしクロノスは生まれてきた子らを丸飲みした生まれし子供たちが自分を殺すと予言されたからだだがジュピター神だけがその難を逃れた母であるレアが守るために身代わりの石をクロノスに飲ませたからだこうしてジュピターだけが人間界で暮らしニンフに育てられ成長していったいつか先に飲まれた兄たちを救うために
Your story matches up with the myth humans tell.
ジュピターはあの頃ニンフたちに毎日言われていたそうだお前もクロノスに見つかれば飲まれるぞとそれで危機察知能力に長けてしまったそうだ主神なのにな
Thought Chi was astounded by his master and said so at the time, but that was all about himself. Wait, huh? Didn't Lord Kronos... I recalled what I learned in Professor Giordano's lectures. I think I'm right. Lord Jupiter made Lord Kronos take something to regurgitate Lord Jupiter's siblings, and... That's gross. And Zeus or Jupiter maybe escaped that fate and hid out in Crete. And it was Lord Jupiter who managed to free his siblings.
こうしてクロノスから解放された神々はクロノスと戦ったこれがティタノマキアと呼ばれる神々の戦いだ
How does he know all this though? He's been in heaven and Jupiter's been Jupiter since before that, so he shouldn't know anything outside of heaven, but whatever. Oh yeah, Lord Jupiter took command of them and they defeated Kronos together. This occurred in the myth that took place ages before I was born. I've never experienced it. I don't know if that Jupiter was actually Zeus or Lord Jupiter. I've always thought there were too many stories about him, but I never knew that they were two gods this whole time. First of all, when was I even born? At least I've never seen Zeus before, so I think I'm under 2500. In Hesiod's Theogony, it said that Eros was born first, but that's a concept of love and not me. I'll lose my sense of time if I stay in Celestia, and I don't remember any details. I should have listened to Professor Giordano's lectures more carefully. If I had, I could have remembered the story of Cupid's birth. Lost in contemplation, I heard footsteps from outside my room.
ああ、エロス。お帰りなさい。私の可愛い娘。
Mom. Venus, the goddess of beauty and the goddess who played the role of my mother, entered the room. I haven't seen Mom since that matching party. How you been, Mom?
とっても元気よ。実はこれからバカンスにロサンヨークにでも行こうと思っていたところなの。
That's funny.
でも可愛い娘が深海に帰ってきたって聞いたから慌ててきたってわけ。
Thanks, Mom.
それでどう？留学は楽しかったかしら？
Oh yeah, Jupiter and I had loads of fun. Yes, very much. Oh my goodness, this how they worded this. By the way, do you know who that divine beast was that I was hanging with, Mom?
あら、ジュピターったらバレちゃったのね。もちろん私とマーズは知っていたわ。でも知っているのはそれぐらいよ。
Didn't Mars like insult Jupiter in front of him or in front of her? He was like, I would think that Lord Jupiter would send something a little bit more reliable. I mean, how dare you say that about Lord Jupiter if you knew? Whatever.
ジュピターったら真面目だから私にも最初は隠していたの。でもマーズの知識はすべて私のものだもの。
Mom smiled glamorously. It seems like Dad's still under her thumb. I see. Then Lord Jupiter didn't tell this to anyone except for Dad.
ま、主神が深海を長く留守にするなんて大きな戦の時以外ありえないじゃない。それこそギガント巻き破りかしら。
Gigantomachia. That was the battle between the Titan Gigas and the gods, including Lord Jupiter.
ほんとジュピターはあなたに対して過保護ね。昔からあなたが天界にいた頃からずっとね。
Overprotective is so cute. Heaven? Heaven, that's where the angels live. Oh, she doesn't remember she was an angel. And the angels are those who take orders from the gods and bring good luck to the human realm. The Diconstants are the only gods who can use the angels, so a Cupid like me has never been there before, but I was in heaven?
あら、これ言っちゃいけないやつだったかしら。正体がバレてるならジュピターが話していると思ったのだけれど。
Oh no, all the secrets are coming out. And Alan was your pair. No, don't tell her.
ジュピターが言ってないなら私からは言えないわ。ごめんね、ロース。直接聞いてちょうだい。
Mom smiled playfully with her finger on her lips.
でもあなたがこの真実を知るのはもうすぐよ。だから焦ったり不安に思わなくて平気。
Is he coming right now?
あなたが私の可愛い娘であるのは確かだし、ジュピターはあなたをとっても大切に思っているもの。本当は主神ってディーコンセンテスや使いの者以外と話しちゃいけない決まりなのよ。みんなが話すと収拾がつかないからでしょうね。でも他人の目を盗んでジュピターはあなたにたまに話しかけていたでしょう。
Oh yeah.
Cupid ため息などついてどうした？
When I was troubled or worried about something, Lord Jupiter used to talk to me directly. Since he talked with Dad and Mom quite often, I thought that was normal, but... Speaking of which, I remember some gods telling me that the god of all gods barely spoke except to the Diconstants. Someone else told me that originally there's no way he would talk to him, your Cupid. But why? I wanted to ask him, but Lord Jupiter wasn't around me now. At this rate, he'll come to me several days from now because he's the god of all gods and I'm just a mere Cupid. And Celestia wasn't even allowed to hold his audience. He's the greatest god, unlike me, a lesser one. Originally, there was no way Jupiter and Cupid could talk like that. Listening to the Divine Soldier's reports, I was distracted by thoughts of her.
今は実質にいてヴィーナスと一緒にいるようだな。
And not only does he want to talk to you, but he's in love with you. The ability that I, the god of all gods, have, the ability to locate other divine artifacts. This can be to the extension of my ability to sense danger. This power is the reason why I became the god of all gods.
本当ならば他の者の方が主神にふさわしいだろうに。
As I listened to the Divine Soldier's reports, I summoned rain upon the earth, blew the wind, and searched for the source of the danger. However, I couldn't confirm where it was coming from. I could only feel the strong, murderous intention and resentment.
この深海には結界を張り巡らせてある。めったなことでは入ってこれないはずだが。
I just called the die constant, so after all of them arrive, I must take measures immediately.
だが、皆世界中へ散らばっている。集まるまで時間がかかりそうだな。
Not all of you just recited in Celestia. From what I can feel, I can tell that Neptune is currently working in the oceanic area near Australia.
それで、ミネルヴァは相変わらずどこにいるかよくわからないな。
He's gonna show up at the last minute, surprise everyone.
ジュピター様、大変です。シングが、ジュノー神のシングが戻ってきました。
I knew it would return.
そうか、ついに。わかった。今行く。
Now he can make her Juno. I followed the divine soldier and verified that they were indeed Junos. They lay there like someone's remains.
ジュノー、ついに消滅したか。
I touched the divine artifacts and closed my eyes to mourn over the passing of the goddess of marriage. She loved Zeus wholeheartedly. Even when she was rejected, she always loved him.
あの決定にもずっと反対していたからな。私は誰も幸せにできぬ主神だというのに、私は。
These hands of mine are so useless, but I must still move forward. If only the people had no need for the gods. However, the order of the world was established a long time ago. From chaos came earth.
とにかく今の仕事を早く終えて彼女の元へ行かなければ。
Just to make her Juno. No.
私がただ彼女に会いたいだけだ。
Aw, I recognize that phrase. That's the phrase when someone really misses someone, like a lot. Anyway, to make her Juno, though, in the last read they said that was to marry him, right? I want to see her innocent smile. That's all I need. That's all I need to fulfill my role as the god of all gods. He's so cute. A little time passed since we came back to Celestia. I wonder how Lord Jupiter's doing. With nothing to do, I lay down on my bed and waited for Lord Jupiter to come. Sitting around is so boring. I would usually matchmake using my Cupid's bow, but since Lord Jupiter told me not to, I have nothing to do. Heaven, huh? I still had what Mom told me in my head. If I recall, there was the door to heaven in my room. Oh. Since I was instructed not to open it, I had no real need to see what was on the other side. But if it's not a forbidden place, it's natural for me to be curious about it. So I could go there, right? Don't do it, just wait. I made excuses to myself and sat up on the bed. No, you're going to get lost. You're going to go in there, get trapped. Jupiter is not going to be able to find you, and Zeus is going to just take you. Like, I just know it. Just stop it. Don't do it. I walked quietly, confirming that nobody was looking, and arrived at the front of the door to heaven. Only the die constants are allowed to open this door, while I'd be punished for entering it. You should just stop it. But I'm so curious, I want to see. In that moment, I heard footsteps behind me.
Cupid, その扉に何か用があるのか?
Well, at least someone came, because I was going to be mad if she got separated from Celestia. I turned around, I found Lord Jupiter. Oh no, come to think of it, Lord Jupiter can sense the location of all other gods. I know, you can't escape him. I hesitated to say I wanted to enter the door, so I shook my hands repeatedly. Oh, I just went on a walk, tired of staying in my room doing nothing. I quickly took my eyes off the door, and Lord Jupiter let out a small sigh as if he was relieved.
そうか。変わったことはないか?
I just noticed he didn't have his mask on. No, nothing.
そうか。よかった。
Yes. Look at her face. We both didn't know how to break the ice, and we both stood still. The silence lingered, then...
Cupid.
We spoke at the same time, and we both froze. Just then we burst out laughing at the same time.
お
Oh, his laugh is cute. Lord Jupiter scratched his head and took my hand.
キューピッド。いや、人間界での名前で呼んだ方がいいか。
I was also wondering if I should call you Peter or Lord Jupiter.
そこにちーちゃんはないのか。
You want to be called Chi, huh? Wait, what's a pet name? Can it be an option? When I asked him, he gave a wry smile and shook his head.
いや、この姿の時はジュピターでよい。それに継承もいらぬ。ただジュピターと呼んでくれれば。
We're getting rid of the Lord. That's going to cause suspicions around the other gods, isn't it? So you are fine with me calling you Jupiter? When I tilted my head, Lord Jupiter turned red in an instant.
それでいい。それよりお前に頼みがあるのだが。
He's so cute. A favor?
そう、お前に私は。
Jupiter opened and closed his mouth repeatedly. It seemed a favor that was difficult to ask. I waited for him for a while, but it seemed like he would never speak. Chi? A weak voice like a cheese doesn't match Lord Jupiter's divine appearance at all. I burst out laughing at the irony. I never knew that you were so shy, Jupiter. The majestic god of all gods just stood at the top of all gods was a big softie. I wonder how many other gods have seen him like this. As I recalled how Dad spoke of Jupiter, I suspected that even the Diconstants didn't know. Hey, Jupiter. I thought that Dad would be furious about this, but I put my hand on Jupiter's cheek. I want to know more about you. Can you tell me more?
私のこととは?
Because I only found out that you were Jupiter when we were back in Celestia, so I want to know even more. I know many things about you as Chi and Peter, but I still don't know anything about you as Jupiter, so I want you to tell me. I want to know what you're thinking, why you followed me, and why you watched me when I was in heaven.
なぜその話を?
I heard it from Mom, that I came from heaven. But I don't remember being there. Could you explain it to me? As I touched the door to heaven and smiled, Jupiter looked conflicted and shook his head a little.
聞けば、お前は私を嫌うかもしれぬ。
I'd hate you more for hiding it from me. It's unfair that you know more about me than I do myself. I told him to tell me with my eyes, and Jupiter looked down sadly.
そうだな。ずるいな。すまない。それでもお前には恨まれたくないのだ。
It's Mercury's fault though, right? It's not your fault.
だが、出身はどうせ恨まれるものか。それにどうせすぐにバレる。ジュノーになれば。
Jupiter let out a sigh and looked at me with a determined face.
実際に見た方がいいだろう。天界へ行くか?
Really?
ああ。私ならば、天界への扉を開ける。行って、思い出すといい。かつての記憶を。
Are or were? Uh-oh. Dang it. No. How dare you? The sister of Parasite is serious. No, it's over. Okay. I'm gonna turn it down. Turn it slightly. We'll have a little bit of noise. Well, that is the end of the episode. I was getting really into that though. He wants to ask her a favor, but he's afraid, so he didn't ask her the favor. She wants to know more about herself, so he's going to do that, but we can't see that until the next episode. Well, at least things are finally moving along now. She knows it's Jupiter. She knows who's after her, and even though she didn't say anything, she now knows that Jupiter wants her to become Juno. And Juno is gone. Also, Helen is an incubus, and all the Parasite 5 know about them now, so much happened in this hour and 20 minutes. Anyway, If you guys did like, drop a thumbs up down below or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.